Let's start out. So, what's your name, man?
James Forsythe.
Okay.
Woodward, Oklahoma. Here in Chicago. Just came out of New York City. I'm a drifter. I hitchhike. Homeless. Been doing it for 2 years now. Was homeless in my 20s, and after I lost my wife and kids to a house fire, I reintegrated with homelessness and found peace with it. So, don't look for housing. Don't want housing. Travel the country and just live life. So.
Okay. And so, how long have you been homeless?
2 years this go around. Now, when I was in my 20s, I done 2 or 3 years. I traveled the West Coast through California, Idaho, all those pieces. But recently 2 years, and
Okay.
it's been a long run. Very long.
How'd you become homeless the first time?
First time, I was an addict. Wanted to get out of the hometown I was in, using the needle, and got out one day. I started hitchhiking. I was like, I want to get away from all my old friends. I want to just get away and see a little bit of life. Fell in love with it. Found sobriety on the road, difference of people, and not getting stuck in a certain cycle where I'm able to still move around and do what I want to do. Yeah, it drug me down at first, but then I found peace with it as a young man. Got married, had kids, and that was my biggest argument with my wife was, I'll just leave you and go be back on the road. It's a lot more beautiful out there than having to argue with you. But, it's, it's finding the beauty in it, man. Homelessness can be beautiful as much as it can be ugly. But it's what we make with it, man. Those that want housing, government's passing it out. This is 2022. It's a new system out there. They put a lot of money in people's pocket. Now people are like, man, we want money. You gave us housing for 2 years. We want to still live in a house. So it's resetting the minds of people right now. So this, right now is a major time of homelessness, new changes, new development. I mean, it's a big time right now for us in this country and the people. Actually, for the whole world after COVID. So, but yeah, it's a new doors. Government's got new perspectives of how to make money, how to prepare for hard times, hardships, sicknesses, to what people do for the homeless and those that are integrated in it. Some people know that some neighborhoods are addicted, and that's what's going to be there, and how to feed it, how to respect the people that walk with their dogs and still be homeless and not cross lines is a hard thing as a homeless person. We still have to respect it. These neighborhood people are still going to be here. They're families, their friends, their dogs, and what we do integrate that. Okay.
So, tell me a little bit about your history with drugs and alcohol.
I was a meth addict. I spent about 10 years on meth. I was a needle junkie, about 120, 140 pounds at the time. Struggled with it throughout 10 years, my late 20s, early 30s. Went through it real heavy. Manufactured methamphetamines a few years down south. Ran with
now, did you ever do any time in jail?
I did a little bit of county, but never really no drug bust, nothing like that. I've done assault fights, things like that, but no major stuff. No prison, nothing like that. So besides that, no, jail's just not my thing. I guess I'm a bird. I like to just fly off and go where I need to in life. So yeah.
So what attracts you? Because earlier in our conversation, you had said you're not interested in finding housing. What attracts you to living in this situation you're in right here?
It's finding the beauty in things. I could get a job and I could restart my life. I could regenerate right now quickly, oil field, whatever. I've got good skills, but I don't find happiness in that. I don't have a wife and kids no more. I buried them. I find happiness being free and be able to meet new people. Some people say, well, you're not trying to build no relationship, so you don't want to bond, so you keep on moving. That too, but it's who I was before. It's where I find peace at. I can get a house, keep bills going, but that's not what I want. I don't want a full-time job. I don't want to pay bills and live in a house. I don't pry off the people, some people do, but that's who they are, and I respect that. But I have to be me, and I want to be free, I want to be able to go and journey, to be able to say, hey, tomorrow, let's catch ride to Alaska, let's catch a train to San Francisco, whatever I want to do, I'm free to do that. My kids would want me to be free other than in prison to the situation that happened.
Would you be okay with talking a little bit about your wife and kids?
I would, yeah. My wife, she had just gotten to her 30s. She just got her medical card, but she was a big marijuana enthusiast. She fought with me a lot through my addictions, but she always loved me, took care of my kids. She was a great woman. She worked at a convenience store there in Oklahoma, made good money for that area, was very well. Very positive woman, very good to my children. My daughter was 5. I think that's where I got stuck at with my daughter. You know, she was 5. Couldn't mourn my son. I couldn't mourn my wife for a long time. I think my daughter's who I leaned on. You know, I was at the time of a divorce. We were split up for a couple of years, but we still had our relationship. We were best friends, and it broke me losing my wife because that's who I leaned on. You know, when Dad went to the motel, we went, you know, to do whatever we did and hung out and watched movies. She was my go-to girl. You know, I held her, talked to her, you know, and she was my, you know, my substitute in life. When I lost her, I think that's where sometimes your mind will break. You know, you bury so many. You know, one is kind of where your mind goes to focus. And I think that's the one that kind of kept it together the most. So, my son, he had heart problems. He used to go to Cook's Children's Hospital in Fort Worth. Did well. Turned 12. And we used to fish, shoot guns, plenty of videos. I've got good ones on Facebook. Taught them all to drive. I can literally stick them in my car truck, and I've got videos if you're ever interested. You know, they can drive, shoot guns, ARs, you name it. Southern lifestyle. It was a beautiful thing. We had a beautiful life, even in our divorce, even in our splitting up, which we never got the divorce. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, you know, with all of it, they would want me to love them by loving others, you know, and by doing what I feel is good, you know, which I do think the housing thing is beautiful. I think that what they've done, this camp here, as you can see the shadows of the tents, this is how many people have been put into houses through the government saying, hey, look, we want to get you off the street. We're willing to pay you, let you get a job, let you learn what it feels like to actually live a normal life. You know, with the COVID thing, it kind of gave a positive for those people. Drug addicts or not, 2 years of sitting in the house, you're going to be like, wow, now the government ain't paying. I'm going to go find something I want to do to keep what I've got. You know, and that's something that we learn to develop in life. If you got something, well, you don't want to lose it. And the same thing with housing, you know, with the checks that they passed out for those years that COVID hit. You know, it taught people something. You know, yeah, it's not fully in process, but people are. You know, even homeless people are like, hey, day labor work. You know, we want to make money again. You know, people want to learn that system and enjoy it and find peace with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But yeah.
So what happened with your family?
House fire, March 3rd, 2021, in Woodward. 6 people died. One was her boyfriend, which was a good friend of mine. Of course, I'd been split up with her. Wasn't crazy like that, but he died. His daughter died. My wife, my brother, and my 2 children died. I did have a surviving son who stays with my grandfather currently, and so I find peace with who I am, and he'll be 18, and we'll go from there. I can't stably mentally just function correctly. I can't go work 2 months straight just to do a cycle. I'll break. You know, my mind won't. You know, I need peace, or I need to step away from the job for 2 weeks and they'll fire me. So it's like, well, you know, I can't have somebody that can't be here. You know, not saying I'm disabled, I can work. However, yeah, once they lost to that fire, it really changed my perspective. It opened my eyes. It was a changing point. But I let it rest there. You know, I live in that day as anybody would. You know, your whole family disappears and you're standing there alone. It's like, all right, this is my new family. You know, these people, this, you know, where do you find peace? You know, I had an apartment, was doing well after it happened, had my truck, did the dadly thing, did everything, and then I broke. I realized, you know, I wasn't happy with that, you know, because that's what people would want me to do. That's what, you know, that's not where I found happiness in life.
Where do you find happiness now?
Happiness now is out here with the homeless, with the struggle, knowing that, you know, I could be out there looking good, having my truck again, going back to work. Hey, but deep inside, I'd be hiding who I am. You know, I've got a chance to meet you guys today. I'm an oil field worker. I'm from the South. I ain't from here, but here I am today. And it's what led me there. You know, it's what strives me to continue on, is that little bit of that love and understanding of the people working together. You know, this world is what it is. You know, we are where we are with this world. You know, I'm big on the understandings of religion. In those understandings, don't base myself to it. You know, I think laws and all that, of course, what most people say is conspiracy all put together. You know, 1976 and 1776, our Memorial Day, Independence, they call it. We know a 360, a circle is a 6. You know, 66 is equals 60 seconds, you know. So a circle equals going into 6. You know, losing 6 people would open me up to that 6. And I thought, well, 1776, 1976, the double-dated quarter with, what's his name? What was that president's name? JFK. Where we live in a society of conspiracy, you know, and then they turn around and cite them. But that 50-cent piece with JFK on it shows the numbers of two religions, 666, 777, and 911, which are the numbers of law. The number 777, lucky number, a good number, the number of the seventh day prize, 7. And then you got your 666, a bad number, unlucky number. But if you write down 1976 and 1776 or look at that 50-cent piece, there's 3 sevens on it, there's 3 sixes counting a quarter, and there's 911. In order to have 666, 77, good and bad, you have to have law between that. That's on your JFK Kennedy 50-cent piece and quarters. But yeah, a lot of people don't see it, you know.
All right, so James, just tell me a little bit about your PTSD.
PTSD, which is my post-traumatic stress disorder, it's heavy, but now it doesn't. It's not as heavy as some would think, but it alters me to be able to do certain things, which can be caused from anything tragic in your life, anything actually good. The tragedy of the house fire, for instance, took me from the phone. I quit carrying the phone because of it. I was used to talking to my children, my wife, and whatnot on the phone. Looking at pictures on Facebook has prohibited me to be wanting to get online. So when people, even on my day labor deal, hey, do you got a phone? I'm like, no. My PTSD keeps me from that. It keeps me from the people. It keeps me from, wanting to get up some mornings. PTSD is a very powerful thing. I wasn't a soldier in the Army, but I can only imagine, what they have to go through on the PTSD side. If I go seek help for something, it's hard with PTSD because they don't understand it. You need a phone so we can call you for your appointment. I can't have a phone. Is there a way you can give me a date and time I can be here? Well, we got, it becomes a hassle, because they don't have no direct, dates. If I'm trying to get help on Social Security, food stamp, whatever, those kind of things, they expect you to have a phone. You can't go in the government facility. You got to set an appointment. PTSD will keep you from that if it's severe.
And having a phone kind of triggers that?
That it does. I'll get back into Googling pictures of my kids or Facebook. I get lost in the phone. I'd rather be talking to my kid on it, while I'm traveling, going to work, than sitting there with the phone. That, I don't have nobody to really communicate with much, so having the phone, is kind of been pushed to the back door. But yeah, PTSD is a crippler, man, for me, unfortunately.
If you could talk to like a therapist or something about all of it, would you?
I did a few times there in the Woodward. I just, there's nothing a man can say when you lose your whole family. That's it. When you lose, what means a lot to you. You bury your wife, a son, and a daughter. Your mind is just sad. You just become real, just deep, dark. You just don't. You don't have that hump. I still got a little drink of water, my son, but it's a very painful experience. It's not, and being that I've been from homelessness, it brought me back to it. But I find more beauty in it, and I can survive better this way. If I go to work, I'll just kill myself right now. A full-time thing. If I try to start a new life, I'm letting go of my past. I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna start a job and do 40 hours a week or 80 hours a week. See your family. I buried you. I'm happy. I can move on. Don't want to do that. Same thing with getting jobs. You don't want to burn bridges. I don't want to get some big company in this town hiring me, and then tomorrow, my PTSD kick in. I need a week off because I'm, depressed or whatever. And when I can come back 10 years later, be just fine and ready to work for that company. PTSD is a downer, unfortunately. Yeah, it prohibits you from doing things or moving certain paths. If you got to follow this path, PTSD will kick you off that path. You have a reason you don't want to go down it. Either a barrier in life or you have, whatever obstacle that you're facing. And that's what PTSD is, an obstacle that's happened in your life that you have to face in everyday, the way life's developed. So, yeah.
Well, have you ever had any positive interactions with law enforcement while being homeless?
Being homeless, not really. They have to do their duty and be strong on us because I guess that's how they are. I remember hitchhiking, wasn't making no money, and walked up to a cop, man, at a truck stop. Was like, hey, man, I'm hitchhiking, I'm homeless. I didn't tell him my family situation. However, I did tell him, I'm struggling, need help, and was shamed by him. Go help yourself. Law is a servant. A servant sees something beautiful. When you serve, as you serve now, to teach people the education of homelessness or whatever we're going through, that is servancy. You do it right, you do it good. If you don't want to feed someone, say, look, I'm not going to feed you, but maybe we can go in here and ask, do something as a servant. Don't just walk away. The cops have become product to it as the drug thing. If you walk on one of these trains, drugs selling everywhere. the cops allow it. They have got to the point where they just don't care. You want to blow it, then they lay there, hey, go that way, go destroy it, and that's what they see. Law forgot what service is.
Mhm.
Law forgot if you wear that uniform, people come to you, they expect to understand, have some kind of helping hand, not just to arrest me or pass warrants out. You're there to also be a servant, to help. You wear a uniform. Tell me when I'm a kid, teaching me in school, I'm going to be there to, make sure you're okay. You lost your whole family, they all died, whatever, stand up, be a man, just be strong, be what an officer is, continue to move forward.
Do you have any
You don't
goals
get
in
into
life at this point?
At this point, California next month, and I'm going to hitchhike all the way up to San Francisco through the spring.
Hitchhike or ride trains?
I'm going to hitchhike the coast, but now I'll catch the train from here to there. So, but from once I get to the coast, I'll hitchhike it. Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
Hitchhiking's cool, but you want to find good routes because some routes out there are tough. They do have a couple places up north.
I've always wanted to ride the trains.
The train, I've done it a couple times, not too much. I've been through Philly, all that this last summer. It was pretty unique. You get to Atlanta, you got to actually catch the train back towards Philly because you get stuck in Atlanta into the stop. I didn't know that, so I was stuck there for like 3-4 days.
Can you tell me a little bit about this sign right here?
Yeah, that's my day labor work sign. I use it at Home Depots and Lowe's. So I'll go there. Throughout most of the United States, you will see people either with work signs, tools, or their work vans, and they'll pull up to Home Depots, in which most time people needing jobs come out of Home Depot or needing a hand for the day, maybe not a full-time spot, but hey, they use it for a day of labor.
Yeah.
Some Home Depots and Lowe's are kind of strict and say, hey, we don't want you over here bugging nobody, flying a sign. Of course, that's all there is. There's signs everywhere you look. But
do you panhandle?
That's my business card. I will panhandle if needed. I prefer to do work. Sometimes somebody will hand you money when you're holding a labor sign. Sometimes it can hurt. Hey, here's $1. Cool, that dollar circulates. It helps each path that we're going on. Somebody might ask me, here you go. But when you're holding a work sign, hey, if you need work, you need work.
So you said you got a heater running in the tent, man. Any way you could show me what you got going on?
I can, a little
if you don't mind?
No.
No, it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, you good, come on. Now this is kind of hard to come up. Over there is actually my heater. I can actually turn it on if you wish. I got my bed, my blankets, a lot of, I call it just padding really, to keep it warm. The heat actually does work good. A gentleman actually donated those. They're mason jars with rubbing alcohol, and then have a metal top. You light that thing, and then you put a pot on it, just a flower pot, and it's got a hole on the top of it. So it just gushes heat out. The denatured alcohol burns out quick. If it tilts or spills, fire goes right out. It's pretty unique. So, and they bring them here actually to the park for us, and they work awesome. Wonders.
What's the hardest thing you experience each day going through this?
Not knowing if somebody's gonna burn my camp down. I had a guy try to stab me the other day.
Just right here, or what?
Yeah, right here.
Trying to steal your spot, or what?
Yeah, he kind of felt that it was his spot, which it wasn't. Of course, nobody currently lives out here but me. There is like 5 or 6 tents, but it's currently me. But yeah, he come out here trying to claim territory. He felt this was his area. This is his
and
spot.
how'd you handle that?
Me, I got out of my tent, pulled my chair out, sit down. He called the cops. The cops ended up running him off, of course, because he was a user probably. Somebody just angry out of his mind. So yeah. Besides that, I mean, survival. Learning not to daddle with nobody. Don't get involved with the drugs. Especially if you're a hitchhiker, you're traveling, just wanting to see the country in that way, which is very few of us. Don't get involved with the cycles, man. These people will eat you up and spit you out just as quick as anything. I mean, we don't know the routines around here. Local people do. For me, I have to walk up, hey, where can I get a dinner? Where can I catch some work at? For somebody passing through, it's hard. For flying a sign, now if I went to a normal corner to fly a sign, I'd probably, get somebody there. They'd probably tell me, hey, look, this is my corner. I've been here 10 years. This is where I live. So you learn to kind of pass it up, not, or just tell them, hey, look, I'm passing through. Can I get an hour or two to catch a few dollars to get a meal? Some of them are, it's tough. Homelessness is tough. I mean, there's nothing really handy to you. If somebody donates something, 4 or 5 people come out of the woodworks right now, be like, oh, cool, it's learning to keep that space, give them what is their normal territory, which this is their normal routine. Somebody donates a brand new shoes, they're gonna go sell it for some drugs, whatever, things like that happen, So you learn to really step back, and when they see that, I'm able to get what I need. If clothes pop up, some of these guys say, hey, go get your clothes, because you learn to step back. This is their territory, this is their home. This is not something I can claim myself, but you still have to respect that. People are going to come around, they're going to be pushy, they're going to test your limits. It's like anything, A store guy puts an extra dollar on your receipt, something you either see it or you don't, you learn to deal with it. So, yeah, but it's, it's part of life. It's the beauty in it, so.
Well, we really appreciate you telling your story, man, and
I thank you gentlemen for coming. So,
yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys.
And yeah.
Already. And if you ever go hitchhiking, find the beauty in it, man. It is beautiful out there.
Even
if you just catch a bus to one town and walk it for the rivers, the oceans, the mountains, everything out there is beautiful. Get out of that routine. We're still in the COVID thing, so tell your boss you need 2 weeks off and get out there.
If there's one thing that you could say to the public about homelessness that they might not understand, what would you tell them?
Everyone is beautiful. There's nothing ugly. We can't see ugliness. We can't see difference. I know a lot of religions and a lot of that teaches difference. That, hey, Satan, you're different. You're one of my family members. I created you. I created my own chaos. I would say personally, but He created something, and once it's yours, and once you have that life, and just don't point out difference. The first person to point out difference is a God who says that's different, and you either love your difference or you hate it, and that's all there is. Period. By the way. If you're God and you claim to be a Jesus or this and that, you have to learn to love your difference, and that's the beauty in it. Not to kill it, not to bury it, not to hate it. You learn to say, hey, you're different. I gotta love you just like I love my own daughter. My daughter go, well, what if that was me? You gonna bury me and throw me in the fire too, Dad, forever? No, I love them. You gotta love evil, always love good. You just can't let it cross your line. It's like a football game. If we're playing against each other and he crosses my line, I can't go, oh, you crossed my line. I can't blame you, bro. I gotta blame me. If I put a line there, that's my line. I failed as a father, or I failed as a being to allow you to cross that line. So there is no pointing fingers and blaming. And when you point a finger, hey, Satan did it. Go to that tree over there. You got 3 pointing back at you, buddy. So yeah.
Where would we find that information that you were talking about online?
Facebook, James Forsythe, or you can Google Woodward, Oklahoma, 6 people, house fire, March 3rd, 2021. The Facebook will give you the pictures of me, the marriages. I've had 2. One will be with my daughter with a blue shirt, daddy-daughter dance, so you'll see her in her little dress. Well, there'll be a picture of me, I believe, with a cowboy hat on, just flipping the deal off. So I had one before the death and one after. So, yeah.
Well, thank you, James.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
No
man.
fundraiser or nothing like that, just
Yep.
the
Thank
story.
you.
Yep.